As I continued studying Germanische Heilkunde, another biological theme began to reveal itself over and over again: the concept of territory. At first, I thought territory simply meant land or physical space or things and objects, but I soon realized that as human beings, our sense of territory extends far beyond that. It is exactly like it is in the plant and animal kingdom. Our territory includes our home, our family, our children, our work, our reputation, our relationships, our possessions, could be even our time with our friends, our money. These all become part of what we instinctively feel responsible for protecting, even from our own loved ones. When we perceive that something important is being taken from us or threatened, we don't simply have an emotional reaction. According to Germanische Heilkunde, our biology responds. One of the emotions most closely associated with territorial conflict is anger. Before discovering this work, I often thought of anger as something people simply needed to control. But now I see it differently. Anger is not necessarily evidence that someone is a bad person. It is often a powerful biological impulse. The purpose is to help us defend what we believe is ours, to regain what feels like it has been lost, to restore what we perceive has been violated. And that doesn't mean every expression of anger is healthy or appropriate. Far from it. But understanding its biological purpose changed the way I viewed human behavior. I began asking a different question, not why is this person so angry, but rather, what territory do they believe they are losing? Sometimes it's respect. It could be something in their marriage, something in their career, their financial security, their sense of belonging, simply the feeling that no one is listening. Perhaps you feel that someone is stealing your ideas, your projects, your words, and copying everything that's yours and appropriating everything for themselves and gaining benefit from it. These questions, they create compassion because once you understand what someone believes they are protecting, their behavior often begins to make much more sense. Germanische Heilkunde also helped me recognize these patterns in myself. Whenever I feel betrayed, whenever I feel deeply disrespected, whenever I feel that someone had crossed a boundary without my consent, I can often recognize that my own territorial conflict has been activated. And that awareness has been incredibly humbling. It reminds me that I am not separate from the biology I teach. I live it too. And I continue learning from it every day. As I began looking through this lens, I started seeing territorial conflicts everywhere, within families, within businesses, within friendships, within communities, even within nations. People fighting over land, money, politics, recognition, power, status, reputation, resources, stealing territory from others. When we only look at the behavior, we often become judgmental. But when we begin asking what the person is trying to protect, the conversation changes. We move from blame to understanding. That doesn't excuse harmful behavior or corrupt behavior. People are still responsible for the choices they make. But understanding the biology behind those behaviors allows us to approach them with greater wisdom and compassion. And perhaps nowhere is this more important than in our closest relationships, because so many of the conflicts that divide families begin with two people who both feel that something precious is being threatened. Understanding that has completely transformed the way I approach conflict. It has also transformed the way I approach people. Beneath every angry reaction, there is often a frightened human being trying to protect something they deeply value. And that realization prepared me for one of the greatest gifts Germanische Heilkunde has ever given me. It helped me move beyond judgment and toward compassion.